Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Shri Saraswatyai Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Om Samasta Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam. Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahmavidvaram. Sadgurum Brahmavidvaram. Om Sadashivasamarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Krutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punaha Sruti Smruti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Pada Shankaram Loka Shankaram. So, 6 questions were asked by Ganapati Muni to Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi. First question was Satya Satya Viveka. Bhagavan said that is, will not give you direct mukti, but it will give you vairagya. Afterwards, you can reach the truth. The second question was the Kim Alam Shastra Charcha Vijnasuna Vimuktaye. Is it Shastra Charcha, discussion on the Shastras, is it enough for realization? Only mere. Yatha Guru Upadesham Kim Upasana Apekshate? Or that is it required that Guru Upadesham also is expected? Does it require to practice? That is required according to the Upadesha of the Guru. For that, Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi has answered that Dvitiya Prashnasya Uttaram. First thing he said that Shastra Charcha will not give you the mukti. See, na samsiddhi vijignasoho kevalam shastra charchaya. By merely discussing on shastras, you will not get siddhi or accomplishment. Accomplishment establishing in the truth. Upasanam vina siddhi naiva syat iti nirnayaha. So upasana will help you in siddhi. Having seen that, upasana we discussed that it is not simple puja japa. Here upasana means practice of abiding in one's own self. Now, abhyasa kale sahajam siti prahur upasana. What is upasana is explained in 13th verse. It says that natural state, abhyasa kale, during the practice, sahajam sthitim, attaining a natural state during the practice is called upasana. Natural state means what? Natural, not swabhava. Natural state, I am very natural, people have misunderstood that state also nowadays. They say that, jaisa main sochta hu, waisa karta hu, jaisa mere khayal aata hai, waisa karta hu. I am very natural and spontaneous. That is not here. Jo khane ka man laga, khan liya. I am naturally, I will go by the wind. I am not attached to anything. It is actually fulfilling the whims and whimsical ideas of the mind. That is not here sahajasthiti. Sahajasthiti is atmasthiti. So siddhim sthita stiram yada gachet sayeva jnanam tada uchyate. So when one gets accomplishment, siddhi, deeply gets established in truth firmly, then only it is called knowledge. Now, here another thing is there. So what is this sahajasthiti, natural state, and what is the practice for that? Upasana means attaining sahajasthiti, natural state. Then how to practice that natural state? That is the third answer. I mean, the second answer only, second question answer, the third sloka in this. So what is it Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi says? Here we stopped yesterday. 14th verse we have to start today. Vishayan samparityajya swasvabhavena samstitihi ज्ञानज्वाला कृतिः प्रोक्ता सहजा स्थितिरात्मनः विषयान् संपरित्यज्य स्वस्वभावेन संस्थितिः ज्ञानज्वाला कृतिः प्रोक्ता सहजा स्थितिरात्मनः. Now, see, Vishayan Vishavat Tyaja, Bhagavan Shankaracharya says. Now, what is the practice? Upasana is establishing in one's own, that is Upasanam. By practice. Then how to do this practice of Sahajavastha practice? How to do this? He says, first one, Vishayan Samyak Parityajya. Abhyasa practice. First one is Vishayan Samyak Parityajya. Having renounced the sense objects completely, totally. Now, see, Swasvabhavena Samstitihi. Now see, remember here. What is the clue here? Swasvabhavena Samstitihi. That is abiding in one's own Swarupa. Now, what happens to, here the clue is given. You give up all the sense objects and remaining by giving up, after giving up the sense objects, remaining in one's own Swarupa, Swasvabhavena Samstitihi, first condition. Now what happens is normally when I give up an object A, it is given up by replacing it with an object B. Think. Or I give up object A only to gain the object B. If in order to gain the object B, if I have to give up the object A, I will do it. So now I am giving up some sense objects not to establish myself in my own Swarupa. I am only giving up only to replace it with some other object. Now think. So I give up one thing and replace it with some other thing. I give up a notion, replace it with other notion. I give up with an idea, replace it with other idea. I give up an object, replace it with other object. I give up a concept, replace it with other concept. So therefore, or G.T. Krishnamurti, in these areas he was little more, language is very tough to understand, his language. There he says there is no independence. We are always hanging on to something, either a notion, concept, object, experience, or an idea. So, mind is hooked on to something or the other. So, that kind of giving up is not real giving up. In Puja Gurudev would say so beautifully, Generally the people in the world, they give up something and replace it worse than the previous one. So they give up smoking, replace it with drinking. Think. So more harmful things are replaced in all the habits, negative habit. So I replace with something else, something else. Today I am a small thief. Tomorrow I replace it with something deeper, method of stealing. That is ignorant people, worldly people do. In the case of spiritual seekers, we give up certain things only to replace it with something else. Why? Because we are always used to hanging on to, holding on to some idea or a notion. We cannot give up any thought, give up all thoughts completely. So this is the sadhana. Therefore, Vishayan Samyak Parityajya. Samyak, that's a Samyak is used, meaning totally, not with replacement. So therefore, Bhagavan Shankaracharya says, give up the sense objects are Vishayan Vishavastu. Vishayeva. Vishayavat Tyaja. So Vishayan Vishavat Tyaja. So here he says, abandoning, completely giving up the sense objects and remaining in one's own Swarupa, meaning there is no object in the consciousness. Then what happens? Jnana jwala kritihi prokta sahaja stithir atmanaha. Now, that, how do you see when you replace when you give up all sense objects and abide in self? How do you recognize that? It says that becomes in a form of jwala kruti, jnana jwala krutihi. It is like a flame of knowledge. The flame is used only to understand that it is not a, when you give up all sense objects and attachment or sense objects completely given up, it is not a state of dullness, it is not a state of pessimism, it is not a state of negativity, it is not a state of absence. So when I give up everything, then what remains? It is so therefore to indicate that it is not a negative idea, the jwala shabda is used. Jwala akrutihi. Now, we'll go a little deep. Still, we have to go deeper into it. So, therefore, jnana jwala akrutihi prokta. What is that? When we abide in one's own nature, having given up completely the sense objects, we abide in the jnana jwala akritihi. We remain in the form of a flame of knowledge. And that state is in sahaja sthitihi prokta atmanaha. It is the natural state of one's own self. That is the natural state. Now see, there is a difference between knowledge of and the knowledge. So in pure consciousness, unconditioned consciousness, where there is not even a thought of I-ness, that is also not there. The pure consciousness is there. But in that consciousness, when objects, then in that light of that knowledge of consciousness or consciousness of knowledge, or knowledge, pure knowledge, when objects are illumined, then I identify with that particular object. My focus is only on the object. I give attention to the object. then it becomes the knowledge of the object. Like when you go in deep space, there is no light there. It's all darkness. Why? There is no object to reflect. So when there is an object to reflect, then it becomes knowledge of. Therefore, very important thing is, knowledge of is different from the knowledge which is pure awareness. In that awareness, when any object flows, enters into that awareness, then that object gets illumined. When that object gets illumined and then I identify with the object, then I get the knowledge of the object. Therefore, first I become aware of the object. A great meditation, the great spiritual guru's master's guide. So first is you are aware of the object. Now that awareness of the object, drop the object. Then just question, who is aware of? Who is aware of? Who is illumining? So the focus shifted from object to the awareness itself. Now, when I become aware of awareness, I become aware of awareness. The object also is awareness. The subject also is awareness. And later on, this subject and object will merge and then remains only pure awareness. I become aware of my awareness. Then these merge at higher, deeper states of meditation. If we reach that state, these two merge. And at the time, there is only pure knowledge and there is nothing to illumine. So that state is called is pure knowledge. That is called Jnana Jwala Kritihi. There is nothing to illumine. See, beautiful thing. So when you become conscious of the object is illumined by knowledge, awareness. Then you become conscious of the object. Then it becomes knowledge of the object. It is not pure knowledge. Therefore, when the objectivity is removed from a thought of object, from a thought of chair, chair is removed, then what is the thought? Thought of chair. How did you get the thought of chair? Because there is awareness illumining the chair. The chair aspect is removed. Then what remains is pure awareness. That is called Jwala Kritihi. Therefore, here it says, Jnana Jwala Kritihi. So that means that pure awareness is such that there is nothing to illumine and there is no kriya in that Shuddha Jnanam. There is no kriya of illumining also. I am not illuminator because there is nothing to illumine. Mind is withdrawn completely, merged in the consciousness. So that state is called pure knowledge, and that is not emptiness, that is not absence. In that pure state, the Shuddha Ham Spurati, there is kind of a pure I, it throbs. It's a throbbing is only used word. It is not on end of throbbing, it is continuous presence. So become aware of the continuous presence of that. So that state is called Jnana Jwala Kritihi. That is called Sahaja Sthitihi. There in that Sahaja Sthiti, it is devoid of any actions. Therefore, mind and ego ego doesn't allow us to give up the mind totally. Ego, what does ego do? If you are giving up in the mind an object, ego suggests you to replace it with some other object. Because some objectivity is always maintained by the ego. It's a function of the ego. The objectivity is always maintained by the ego. So that ego is alive. Because ego doesn't want to get killed. So therefore Bhagavan Ramana says, what is the practice abhyasa? This is abhyasa. How to do practice? Vishayan samyak parichajya. That is parichajya, samyak parichajya means what? Not replacing it. Though it is an intermediate step is necessary, which you, anyway, deeper thoughts are there, but then that becomes too heavy for us. So, let us leave it here. So, that is called Suddha Jnanam, Jnana Jvala Kritihi, where the pure awareness alone is felt, and that is called the natural state, Sahaja Sthitihi. So, therefore, this is how we have to practice. That means what? The practice is, we must try to reduce the objectivity in the mind. But more the mind is allowed or allows the objects to enter into it, and the more number of objects are floating in the mental consciousness, or stuck up, are precipitated, solidified and stuck up in the mental consciousness, the more it becomes hard to dissolve it or reject it or renounce them. Therefore, the liquidity of the mind is not there. The mind becomes solid or solidified. Most part of the mind is hard, became hard, fixed, stiffened, rigid, unwilling to yield, unwilling to change, unwilling to drop. Because all concepts are to be dropped for realization, all ideas are to be dropped, all notions are to be given up. But I become so rigid in my thinking, in my concepts and ideas and notions, so I am not interested to give up them. Naturally, the fluidity of the mind, I am using a word, fluidity of the mind, is not there. So it got stuck up, frozen state. Then frozen state means all objects are frozen inside. Then how to give up? How to renounce them? So when you renounce them only, give up the hold on each of the objects slowly and steadily, then we discover what is the meaning of freedom. Then such a mind can easily give up the sense objects completely, not getting caught up in any concept or notion or idea or an object, etc., attachment, etc. And then when all the objects of awareness are thrown out, then what remains is pure awareness, and that is me. And where that I remains, as I, awareness as I am, Shuddha Aham, that is Purati. So that is sadhana. So this Ramana Maharshi sadhana is, that is sadhana. That is upasana. Okay, this is second answer he gave. That means what? Guru Upadesa is necessary, and Guru instructs this way. Guru instructed this way. Therefore, practice this way. Vishayan parityajya. We actually don't know the difference between perseverance and rigidity. 99.999999999999% we think rigidity is perseverance. So perseverance is different than being rigid. And rigidity is not sadhana. And it is different from perseverance. Therefore, this is Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi's, is that the clue is, do not allow, in Hamsa Gita we saw that, worldly objects and the mind, they become merge like water and milk. How to differentiate? Sanakadi Putras ask Brahmaji. Okay. Now, third question answer is given now. What is the third question? Stitaprajñah stitaprajñam atmanam kim samarthayet viditva paripurnatvam jnanasya uparatehe uta. So, one who is established in the realization or recognition that I am that Supreme Brahman, that is established. Can he come to a firm conclusion, thus, yes, I am established in this? Can he come to a conclusion? On what basis can he conclude? So, two things. Either knowing the fullness of things, meaning all this is me, that is the fullness of things. Or cessation of knowledge. Jnanasya uparateruta. Meaning jnana, which jnana it is? Worldly knowledge. That is nirvishaya manaha. Nirvishaya manaha is Suddha Chaitanyam only. If all the objectivity or objects are removed from the mind, then it is not mind, it is only pure consciousness. So that was the question asked. So, viditva paripurnatvam jnana uparateruta. So, does one established in this pure Brahman or identity, Shitaprajña, does he conclude that he is, after knowing the fullness of, either, how does he come to know? One experience is everything is me. So, does that experience confirm it that he is established, or no external knowledge is entering into his consciousness, though there is no objectivity. They may be floating, but it is not influencing him. He is not aware of all those things. He is aware of something. Thus, these two are the signs with them. Having gained these two, can one come to a conclusion that one is established in Brahman or Sitaprajñatvam? How does he come to know? So, Trutiya Prashnasya Uttaram, 15th verse. Nirvasena maunena sthirayam sahajastito jnani jnaninamatmanam Nissandeha samarthayet Nirvasanena maunena Sthirayam sahajastito Jnani jnaninamatmanam Nissandeha samarthayet. Now, he says, Nirvasanena maunena. Nirvasanena maunena. Somebody's phone is ringing, please switch it off. Nirvasanena maunena sthirayam sahajastitau. Now, how does he come to know? He says, when one is established in sahajasthiti. I said this is misunderstood notion in the world today. What is the misunderstood notion? I am very natural, spontaneous. I listen to my soul. All that nonsense, they do, big dialogue they say, no? I listen to my heart and I listen to my inner being. Jaise wo chalata hai, waise jata hu. That kind of, this is actually another trap of misunderstanding. Misunderstanding, it is a big trap. Two things always remember. Devil quotes scriptures. Devil is mind. Second is, ego imitates the voice of divinity. These two are to be remembered forever. So that is not sahajasthiti, natural flow. That is only, what is that? Chittasya lalanam. Not to Chittasya lalanam, it will come, but here Chittasya lalana means you just entertaining the mind. As the mind suggests, you entertain the mind and call it as a natural and spontaneous existence or living. That is not sahajasthiti here. It is asahajasthiti. You may not have come across, but I come across such people. So that is not sahajasthiti. Sahajasthiti means what? Establishing in one's own pure awareness, objectless awareness, which is you. Which is you. No, that is understood. Now, how sadhana is given so beautifully. When that natural state, it becomes stiram, sthirayam sahajastito. How? It becomes sthira. Natural state becomes stiram, meaning firm. It will never again, that state will never be lost. We will never lose it, we will never slip from it. I don't lose my awareness that I am that awareness. I am that pure knowledge, objectless awareness I am. I don't lose this knowledge, this understanding, this experience. So I became well established in that. Before that, spiritual seekers, we get that, flashes of illumination for a jhalak and it will go away. But to get established in it, it is a Herculean task. We have so many vasanas. And there are big blocks. Life after life, these vasanas don't go away. We are only replacing them. And thinking that we are progressing. So, when the natural state, when we are established and becomes sthira, means what? Firm. So, Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi was asked, when you got that experience that you are not this physical body and you are that, no death for you, and you recognize that you are beyond all this, in Madurai when you were a young boy, there was a 15, 16-year-old, when that itself you got that knowledge, then what is the necessity for you to come to Arunachalam and engage in tapasya? For what? When you knew that, you got that experience. Then and there, illumination. Bhagavan said, you are right, but I came to tapasya to establish in it firmly. He is so firm, that's it. He is Brahman. In our case, sorry to say such example, like when we say Savadhan Raho, it's like one drunkard telling to other drunkard, careful bhaiya, careful. दोनों गड्ढे में गिर गए. अंधे नेव नियमाना यथांधाहा. Upanishad says, like blind leading the blind. एक दारू पिया आदमी दूसरे दारू पिया को कहते हैं कि सावधान रहो. तो दोनों का सावधान का मतलब अलग ही है. मैं तो सावधान ही रहा, फिर गड्ढे में कैसे गिर गए? अरे गड्ढे को मैंने गड्ढे दिखाई नहीं दे मुझे गड्ढे गड्ढे समझ कुछ बिल्कुल समझा ही नहीं तो गड्ढा है. गिरने का पता चला गड्ढा है. मैं सावधान रहा, सावधान से देख रहा था. I was alert and watching, but I never expected that it is a pit. I thought it is a flat ground. I was alert. Duryodhana was alert. In Maya Sabha, he saw that it is a beautiful glass piece and he stepped on it. He was alert. Therefore, to establish in it, I went for tapasya, he said. So when that happens, but how it happens? He says, Maunena. I'm going still one by one, I'm explaining. Through Mauna, by silence, by observing the silence. Now, silence also has so many degrees of silence, and many different types of silence. One silence is, you are in a deep state of coma. One silence. Deep sleep state, another silence. Or, there are no thoughts gurgling in the mind. So, there is a silence in the mind. That is not the real silence. Why? The potentiality in the mind to get disturbed is there already, lying deep, lurking down deep into this spool of that, the lake of the mind. Beneath the lake of the mind, there are plenty of vasanas, plenty of seeds which can erupt and disturb the surface of the mind at any time. So that silence is actually not the real silence. I think now I am divine today. Suddenly then lusty thought come, greedy thought come, anger thought come. I get delusion, or jealousy will come, hatred would come. Then I said, oh, how did they come again? They are there inside, they are not gone. So, vritti maunam is not real maunam. Thoughts are silenced, that is mauna. That is not the real mauna also. Because there the seeds are lying down deep. So that also is not the mauna. Normally we say, I am mauna today, meaning you are not talking. Vak maunam. It is not vak maunam. Then what is the mauna? So mauna is qualified by the word nirvasanena. By the silence in which there are no vasanas left. That is a silence. Nirvasanena, meaning in that silence there are no impressions, there are no tendencies, there are no vasanas, there are no seeds, there are no patterns, nothing. That means all vasanas are exhausted, and that is real maunam. Where? the absence of mind also. And that is real silence. What is silence? Sakshat Brahma alone is silence. Shuddha Brahma alone is silent. अपना मौन बकवास मौन है सब. आज मौन व्रत मेरा. I will not talk. And in that mauna, more frustration will come. When I came, when we asked Shivratri first or second, I thought of, at least I wanted to do Shivratri Maunam. So for 1-2 years I did Maunam. It was a Naraka day for me. Why? तो ये कोई बोलना पड़ता है भाई ये लाओ वो लाओ बटर लाओ. Then people misunderstood that this man is not talking, how arrogant he is. I invited more troubles and more frustration because instructions are to be given, ye karo, wo karo, function, बहुत बड़ा function था. So instead of telling a bartan lao, I use more energy and fail in communication, resulting in more frustration in the mind. अरे बर्तन लेके आओ, हो गया काम, माइंड बिकम साइलेंट ना. उसको समझाना है तो बहुत मुश्किल होता है. So our mauna is frustration mauna actually. What all you people do also, I think mauna vratam one day, that is frustration only. Because and the mauna means we have to keep one pen and paper to write instructions. And you cannot write big instructions also. कुछ लाओ खाने के लिए, one instruction. और कुछ लाएगा वो खाने में, बट ये नहीं वो. फिर ढूंढने गया, फिर बोलते खत्म हो गया. क्यों? मैंने डब्बा में रखा, ढूंढो. another writing again. पूरा डब्बा में ढूंढेगा, मिल गया. बेवकूफ, समझता नहीं. And writing only all that. Why the frustration? If you want to be mauna, get out of this world. Not death. Where there should not be any physical mauna ke liye, not mental mauna. Mental mauna, mind, wherever you go, you carry your mind. No, that will rumblings will continue. So nirvasanena maunena. What a beautiful word it is. So by that practicing of mauna without impressions lying in the mind, that silence ke dwara, when we established in, firmly get established in our sahaja sthiti, then jnani jnaninam atmanam nistandeha samarthayet. Then the jnani will know without any doubt that I am this, full stop. How does jnani will come to know? Jnani will know. Jnani will not have any doubt. When this happens, therefore, what is sadhana? Mauna. Or not physical mauna. And as long as vasanas are there, you cannot be mauna. As long as vasanas are there, we cannot maintain mauna. Okay? That is the third prashna. Now, fourth question was, Jnaninam kena lingena jnatum shakshyanti kovida. How can the experts, the wise people, other wise people, learned people will recognize a jnani? That is the fourth question. How does a jnani is recognized? So, Chatutta Prashnasya Uttaram, 16th verse, first line. सर्वभूतसमत्वेन लिंगेन ज्ञानमोह्यताम् सर्वभूतसमत्वेन लिंगेन ज्ञानमोह्यताम्. Wonderful. Now, the sign of knowledge is सर्वभूत समभाव, इक्वालिटी, सबको समान दृष्टि से देखना अनुभव से होता है, ये विचार के द्वारा नहीं. थिंक दैट ऑल आर इक्वल, नो थिंकिंग नॉट रिक्वायर्ड. An ignorant man who doesn't know that all the ornaments are made up of gold, we have to tell, please no, please think that all of them are actually made up of gold only. For the ignorant man. For a wise man, all the gold ornaments are made up of gold only, no doubt. So he sees all of them as equal. Puja Gurudev would give an example so beautifully. A jeweler was there and somebody had got this golden Ram Darbar in his house. 2-3 inches height Rama, then 2.5 inches Sita, maybe that equal size of Lakshmana, and small Hanumanji. Ram Darbar, gold. He was in need of money. So he took all of them to a goldsmith shop. Said, sir, please, I wanted to sell this. Iska weight dekho and how much that lose, whatever you take out something, and then how much money I get. He calculated this much money you will get. Then he instructed his cashier, इस साहब को इतना पैसा गिन के दे दो. Give this much cash to him. Then he was sitting there to receive the cash. In the meantime, he took a huge hammer and hit the Rama's head. This fellow's heart broke. मेरे भगवान राम जी को ऐसा क्यों मारते हो? He heard and hit him again. On Sita, another one. On Lakshmana, another one. Powerful Hanuman ji 3-4 दिया है. They went out of shape. What is your doing? Are Buddhu, you are seeing Ram, Lakshmana. I see only gold. For me, they are all equal. There is no Rama, no Sita, no Lakshmana, no Hanumanji. For me, it's all gold. So not only human beings. There is Buddhism, they say that they are trained. When they are tilling the land, when earthworms come, they say, don't kill them because maybe in some time the earthworm may be your mother. She may have played the role of mother in your evolution. Meaning, sometime the earthworm has supported, maybe that parivar, you are also an earthworm. So, seeing everybody. Now, therefore, Atmaupamyena sarvatra samam pashyati yo Arjuna sukham va yadi va dukkham sayogi paramo mataha. Vidya vinaya sampanne brahmane kavihastani sunicheva swapakecha panditaha samadarshinaha. Vidya vinaya sampanne brahmane. One who has got tremendous knowledge and vinaya, humility, the knowledge with humility. Brahmane, one who is awakened. Brahmana is a very seeker of truth and understood, a wise man, intelligent man. Brahmane, to him, Gavi, Hasti, guy, Hastini in cow, in the elephant. So, Vidya Vinaya Sampane, Brahmane, Gavihastani, Shuni Chaiva Swapakecha, Shuni, Shonaka, dog, and dog eater, Swapakecha, is a Panditaha, Samadarishanaha. He sees all of them as equal. किसमें एक हाथी में कुत्ते को खाने वाले में dog eater and guy, Gomata, Hathi, dog and dog eater. Panditaha Samadarishinaha. So, by seeing that quality in that great man, that is a Samadarshti is there. In Vyavahara we can see. That means that man is a Jnani. So this is the Linga. That is a sign of a Mahatma, with which others are recognizing. Others recognize him. Others means Kovidaha, the experts, wise people. So therefore there is no caste, creed, religion, meaning to all of them he is equal. He is equal doesn't mean he doesn't recognize the value of each one separately. He recognizes, but he sees the essence, the behind all that essence is there, no? That substratum, Adhishtana Brahma. So, that Brahma Drishtya, keeping that vision on Brahman, because he sees Brahma everywhere, so from that Drishti, everything is Brahmamayam Jagat. Therefore, there is no difference, anything. Murkha also Brahma, and therefore this is actually in Rudram it comes. That the Punjishte Ebhyo Namaha, that in the bird catcher, thief, dacoit, everywhere, in the greenery, green fields, Harikeshebhyo, and all these things I see only Rudra. And the women who are carrying the water, early morning water, when sun is rising, that sun is nothing but Rudra only. So, that is Samadrushti. Therefore, one who has got that kind of Samadrushti is a sign, it is Uha. Uha guess. Guess means what? Guess means actually it is not our kind of guess. Uha. Mine means what? The wise people. This is a Kovidaha is said, not ordinary people. Because ordinary people cannot understand a Mahatma who is equal to all, or who has equal towards all. Ordinary person cannot understand. Why? Because this is Uhuyatam, meaning a wise man only has capacity to correctly understand the depth and the hidden, nature of that Jnani. Not everybody else. So if you are a wise man, you can recognize a wise man, well-read man. So that means I can see he is out of ordinary. I give an example. One saint was there. And as he was walking, he has a lot of abscess on the feet. Above the fingers of the feet, on the middle portion, there is abscess, a small swelling. And it became a very big cavity type, filled with the pus. In that pus, insects are floating. This man was walking. Because of the walking, that pus is oozing out. And in that, the insects are also sliding down along with the pus. Suddenly he stopped. Oh my dear, why should I take out your food? And he collected them and put them back into the wound, cavity. Wound, that hollow. And another Mahatma, Swami Omkarananda, Bade Tapasvi, Gurudev also met. In the book of Chinmaya Mission book, which they brought, Transforming Life something book, in that the photo of Omkarananda and Gurudev, they don't know who this sadhu is. So they put a Gurudev with a sadhu on that He is not a sadhu, he is a Mahatma. He was just traveling in a train. And there is a mother and a child, daughter in front of him. Omkarananda is a great tapasvi. Mahatapasvi. So, he used to do tapasya on Kailasagiri in near Vishakhapatnam. Kailasagiri, top of the, not Kailasagiri, some other mountain, I forgot the mountain name. Anyway, he used to do tapasya. So, the mother was crying continuously. I said, he asked her, why are you crying, my dear? Mother asked. She is my daughter and she is having this polio. But I don't know how she will study and grow and get married, and I'm so worried about this little girl. So sweet girl she is. But having this polio, doctor said somebody else, the bone has to be given, somebody has to donate the bone, hip bone or something. Then, bas, itne ke zaroor hai beti? For this you are crying, take my bone. And he gave his bone and whole life he was limping. And this is put as a painting in Shivananda's ashram also in Developed Society. Swami Omkarananda giving that, donating the bone. That is Samadrishti. In one of the earlier lives of Buddha, as a child, 5-year-old child, he was playing and he know everything is jungle only in the olden days. So when he saw a tiger so weak and the cubs are really crying for milk and this tiger is so weak and almost dying, and looking at the little 1 or 2 cubs and with great compassion, with great helplessness, this little boy saw, oh, you cannot get up also. So weak you are. You didn't get food. This 5-year-old boy went and just slept before the tiger's mouth and became food for the tiger. Buddha in one of his previous lives. A tiger consumed him. He said, no, why should you suffer? Eat me and live. That's why when Buddha taught compassion, Buddha Bhagavan did not teach compassion as a tell others. So when we see that kind of actions by these Mahatmas, when we see the hidden heart of that, the only great people can recognize he is an awakened being. He is a jnani. He is beyond the body, mind, intellect. He is ready to give his own body. Are bhaiya, we will leave the camp, spiritual camp, because there is no kamara with attached bathroom. That is our sacrifice. We sacrifice the spiritual camp. भाई यहाँ पे मेरा कमरा ठीक नहीं है, मैं जा रहा हूँ. अब कितने जन्म लग जाएंगे हमको? So that is Jnani Lakshanam. So that is the 4th question, answer. 5th one is Panchama Prashnasya Uttaram. Kamara. What is the Pancha question? First we will see now. We can recollect it. Otherwise you will forget. 5th question is, beautiful question. Jnanaya eva samadhi kim kamaya api uta kalpate. Is samadhi is only for knowledge alone? Kamaya eva, samadhi hi jnanaya eva, or does it also help us in fulfilling the desires? This we saw in the question when we analyze it thoroughly. Now Bhagavan Vanash is answering that question. Kamarabdha samadhisto कामं फलैः निश्चितं फलति sorry कामं फल should फलति कामं फलति निश्चितं कामारब्धसमाधिस्थो कामं फलति निश्चितं काम आरब्ध samadhi meaning I give example of Dhruva. We started tapasya with a desire for sovereignty. But once he entered into the inner realms, he was enjoying the bliss of his own higher consciousness. Then he said, nonsense, what sovereignty? Then Bhagavan Vishnu appeared. I don't want all this. मैं गलती से चुन लिया वो मोक्ष दे दो. नहीं भैया नहीं. The desire you started, so I have to fulfill it. I'll give you. So some people ask me, what is the necessity of Lahiri Mahashaya having a desire for a palace? I said, why do you worry? He had a desire in earlier life. Let me enjoy a palace. He got a desire. Why not? But he started yoga and all abhyasa. But that desire is there. That became an obstacle. So Mahavatar Babaji said, okay, I'll remove this obstacle. Create a palace and 2-3 days enjoy. And one day he got up without a palace. पैलेस कहाँ गया और बहुत हो गया बस वासना हो गया चलो काम करेंगे So that Guru can do. Guru is Ishvara. Therefore, here Kamarabdaihi. So whatever, when you start a samadhi abhyasa with a desire, Bhagavan Ranmarshi says, Phalati Nishchitam. It will surely give you the result. Therefore, earlier desires we have desired, no? Now you are a spiritual seeker. What happened other desires which you have created? They won't leave you. I will not tell the Rishi's name. This is a great Mahatma also told, because I couldn't connect it, but then anyway. One story of the great person, and whose children also are great people and all. All of them are great realized souls. That charitra is different. So the great Avadhuta was telling, so this man, whom we are talking about in this Kali Yuga, in the last 11th century, 12th, 10th century, जो कहानी हुई थी, घटी थी कहानी, that man is none other than that Rishi in Ramayana Kal. He named the Rishi name also. फिर उनको क्या हुआ? He had a desire, looking at Dasharatha Maharaj playing with 4 children in his lap, cute children. That Rishi also had a thought, how nice Dasharatha is, so lucky. He is having chubby children. So that thought, a passing thought on the Rishi, he had to take birth and have children, and all of them are Mahayogis, of course. Then he left the body. Now you ask me proof, I cannot give you. I will not tell the Rishi's names also. The question is, a passing desire also will have to be fulfilled. So happily, we don't know how many applications we have submitted to Lord. And all the applications are pending. He will not scrap them. Because through every desire, He will make you work for something in the world. Lord Leela is different. फिर मांगा ना, ये मांग के मेरा भी थोड़ा झाड़ू लगा के आओ, थोड़ा काम करके आओ. So samadhi abhyasya purva, whatever desire you had, thinking that desire will be fulfilled through samadhi, practicing spiritual. So many people, that's why, meditation for stress-free life, meditation for goal-oriented life, meditation for success in life, meditation for maintaining good relationships in life. I have not seen such flyers. So they go to meditate, not for realizing the truth. Their aim is what? Stress-free managing the boss through meditation. Stress-free management of colleagues and subordinates. I meditate and go to office. I do some mantra sadhana, Vashikarana mantra. Vashikarana mantra is to keep everybody under your control. Vasha. So as long as upasana is going on, the fellow will get result. When upasana stopped or something result, the phala will go. Then will go back to square one again. That is a cheap. So we are doing all sadhana for desires only. But while doing sadhana, suppose you got some other thought, no, by mistake I started, but anyway, the blessing in disguise. But I started yoga, I am happy. Now I don't want the old desire. Let me now focus on better desire. Well, Bhagavan says, "Nane bhai, old desire kya karoge? Nane aapko de dunga. Main kya karu?" You have to exhaust it. Phalati nishchitam. इसीलिए चुपचाप बैठना है. डोंट एंटरटेन टू मेनी थॉट्स ऑफ स्पिरिचुअलिटी ऑल्सो. इन द सेंस मैं ये हो जाऊंगा, ये हो जाऊंगा, ये कर देंगे, वो कर, ये बकवास चिंतन है. चुपचाप बैठो, जो करना साधना करो. डोंट हैव एनी फॉर एवरी साधना वन थॉट वे जोड़ देते हो. No desire, any worldly desires, any other desires. समझिए ऐसा आश्रम होना चाहिए पहाड़ के ऊपर ना, बढ़िया सा ऐसा जगह मिलना चाहिए. तब जाके मैं मेडिटेशन करती हूँ. तो नेक्स्ट लाइफ भगवान विल गिव यू बर्थ वेयर माउंटेन इज देयर. वहाँ जन्म ले लो, वहीं बैठ जाओ पहाड़ के ऊपर ही. इन दैट जन्म यू आर मेडिटेटिंग. अच्छा तो है, बट अनदर डिजायर, नो, यहाँ पे पहाड़ में नहीं, दुनिया में अंदर इसका प्रचार करना है, या तो इसका सबके साथ मिलना है. दुनिया में क्या हो रहा है मुझे पता नहीं लग रहा है. भगवान, अच्छा ये भी डिजायर है. नेक्स्ट लाइफ बॉर्न इन सिटी. I don't know, if Bhagavan makes us realize how many lives we have been living, crores of lives at once, if we remember ना, चक्कर आके यही मर जाएंगे. Happily we are living as though nothing happened. So फलति निश्चितम. हो गया बात. फलति निश्चितम. So, whatever desire will start with samadhi abhyasa, you will get. Now, what is sixth question? Sixth question is very षष्ठ प्रश्नः. कामेन योगम अभ्यस्य स्थितप्रज्ञो भवेत् यदि सकामो मनुष्य साफल्यम अधिगच्छति वा न वा. No. But will that desire get fulfilled in this? Suppose one starts yoga with a desire and then becomes established in consciousness. Will that desire get fulfilled or not? In this case or not? That Bhagavan said. One second. Kamena yogam abhyasa kamadanaha sarvabhuta samatva. One second. 16 is over. Panchama prashna and sashta prashna. फलम निश्चितम. षष्ठ प्रश्न. कामेन योगम अभ्यस्य स्थित प्रज्ञो स काम अमुष्य साफल्यम गच्छति Gachannapi na harshayet. That is a clue. Here, whatever desire that fulfills or not, he said that fulfills, no doubt about it. See the sixth question properly. Sixth question, he says very clearly that in case that yogi, practicing this yogi, kamena yogam abhyasya, with a desire he started a yoga, but in that process he became sita prajna, then sakamo amushya, amushya means of this person who is with sakama, with filled desire, safalya, that kama adhikachati vajagachati, yes, it gets ajyachati, no doubt about it. But then question is that beautiful question answer is na harshayet. Here what happens, by practicing yoga, somebody became sita prajna. He started with a desire. Kamena yogam abhyasya. He became sita prajna. Earlier samadhi, no sita prajna ban gaya. Sita prajna ban gaya. Now, sakamo amushya safalyam gachan api na api safalyam gachan api. Even though that desire with which he started samadhi gets fulfilled, na harshayet, meaning he doesn't get excited, he doesn't get elated, he will not swell, he will just observe and says, let it go. He welcomes it. That's how, in the cases of great Mahatmas, their Aishwarya is so high, but they are not getting excited, they don't get elated. Maybe they had a desire of that earlier in their lives in practicing yoga and all. They became very rich in this life, Aishwarya, people, servants, all that. And we think that, oh my God, what a lucky, ask him, he is not bothered about it. He is not prapul, he is not harshayet, he is not excited about it. That doesn't please him. Harsha means joy. He doesn't become joyful. They don't make him pleased. He doesn't get pleased by such things. Because atmatruptascha manavaha. Atmarati, atmatrupti, everything is, inside only. Atma kridati, atmani eva kridati, atmani eva trupti manubhavati. So for him, Atma alone is great. By the by, it has come. We may have asked earlier, you have invested somewhere about 30-40 years. And you forgot. 30-40 rupees or 50 rupees in those days you have invested. You forgot about it. For 30-40 years, you fixed a deposit or some share value or somewhere you forgot it, pura bhul gaya. But then later on you started your business and you minted millions and millions of rupees. Right? Suddenly you get a postal letter in which आपका 50 रुपया अभी 2 लाख बनकर आपको भेज रहे हैं. Will you get excited? You are already millionaire. Why? Your daily expenditure is about 25 lakhs. Personal expenditure. Business tours and dinners and lunches and that you provide to business community and all. You are so big guy you are. And the 2 lakh. क्या करोगे? You get excited. ये कहाँ का यार? अरे यार तुम ले लो यार अटेंडर साहब क्या ले तुम ले लो मैं चेक दे देता हूँ ले लो मैं तुम्हारा पता नहीं पुराना पैसा 2 लाख तुम रख लो सर 2 लाख अरे यार कुछ भी नहीं बड़ा बोझ है 2 लाख ले लो so do you get excited? No. Because you are so filled with so much of richness. Some छोटा मोटा desire is fulfilled. राजा बन गया He is not excited. Like Janaka. Is he excited about being a king? Janaka? So he is not excited about being the king. He is Mahajnani. He is ready to drop anything at any time. So that is the state. So therefore, desires may get fulfilled. But Jnani doesn't get excited about it, swells, he does not get elated, he will not be displeased, he will not jump out of joy and all. He looks at it and smiles. The 2 lakh check. Thus, we have completed the first 6 questions and answers. So, asked by Kavyakanta Ganapati Muni Shastri ji, Kavya Muni, great Muni, and is considered as Ganapati Avatar, as I told you earlier. And Ramana Bhagavan answered all the 6 questions. And thus, we have completed the first chapter. The Upasana is important in that. Upasana is important. So, Upasana Pradhanya Nirupanam is that proof. What is Upasana here? Abiding in, trying to be abide in the self. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnadachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om Sadgurunath Maharaj Ki Jai.